I'm Loyd Holmes. I'm a film producer and documentarian. My key interest is wildlife, some of the more extreme forms of wildlife filmmaking. I really like trying to tell a story that maybe hasn't been told. Firstly, you need a camera you can rely on. You need equipment that's going to be easy to move with. We're often filming in very, very remote locations with very limited power, if any. You're either flying in very small planes or boats and living in very difficult conditions. So ultimately your equipment has to be small and it has to work with lots of different housings, for example, if you're going to be underwater. The reason I go for the Sony camera, the A7S, is ultimately to be able to use it easily in a housing, have good functionality in the housings, and to operate well within low light. And kit selection is really important because when you're dealing with wildlife, one, you need to be able to react very quickly when you see something happening, and two, you don't want to be lost in the camera. You need to be able to set what you need and then to be able to shoot. A couple of variable lenses, so somewhere between a 16 and a 25, depending on what animal it is. With crocodiles specifically, you can get quite close. I have a scratch on my dome port from getting that close. So it depends really, but the majority of the time you're going to be a meter away from the animal. The deepest I've been is 46 meters. With the great whites, for example, you want to be very, very low and see them silhouetted above some of the larger sharks. And with the crocodiles, you're nearer the surface. You're sort of within 5 meters of the surface. I've been doing this a long time, and a lot of cameras fall short and a lot of cameras don't give you the flexibility. And it was after trialing a friend of mine's A7 that I thought, actually, I've used it in a lot of different situations, and it's always been fantastic for me. It's always been fantastic. An interesting story is when we were filming with the crocodiles, the local guide had said, we recognize lots of the crocodiles and we have sort of nicknames for them, and if there's one crocodile turns up, he's the alpha of the area. So he's very calm, he knows what he's doing, and he's unlikely to do anything that could be a problem. But there's another animal who's trying to take over and be the dominant male. And he said if they turn up at the same time, there'll be a fight, and the loser will attack the first thing it sees, which will likely be you. So, well, hopefully this won't happen. I was like, well, hopefully this won't happen, sure, okay. So the main crocodile is nicknamed Gambit, and this new crocodile was nicknamed Godzilla. And so I'm in with the A7 in the rig, and I'm filming it, and this crocodile Gambit is just being incredibly nice. Sort of drop down to the bottom as the sunlight's sort of hitting just beside him. There's like a little bit of a cloud of silt from the bottom. It just looked beautiful, having these rays of sunlight coming in. And as I came up to the surface, because you're doing breath holds, you're free diving as opposed to scuba, I sort of came up, I could hear this commotion on the boat, and one of the boat crew is saying, Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla. I thought, oh, okay, this is good. The worst that could happen is happening. I was sort of here, and the crocodile's here, and Godzilla was here. And so ultimately, you're in the middle of the two crocodiles at this point. And this was on day one. I'd only been in the water 2 hours. At one point, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle. It didn't get very large, but there was a little bit of a kerfuffle. So I'm sort of filming him going towards each other. And I was like, okay, quickly, just change the setting, let's get right. And I sort of went to do this. And then I turned back, and I looked away from them for maybe 2 seconds. As I look away, the crocodile is coming like this, right at me, fast. And he's not trying to hurt me. He's moving away from the other crocodile. It was Godzilla. And so I had to lay back. I just kick all the air out of my lungs, drop back onto the deck, and I lay there, and the crocodile just goes over you like a jumbo jet, like a giant aircraft. And again, quickly bang on, hit the record fast, because in the housing, that's why I love that camera. It's very ergonomic within a housing, and that's really important. Basically, the most dangerous place to be with a crocodile is by its side. And so I snuck round past its side, and I thought, oh, here we go. Shouldn't do this, but okay. I ended up sort of just getting right over the crocodile's tail, and the crocodile just turned back to look at me. And he just looked at me for 1 second. He saw what I was doing, and he relaxed and carried on. For this kind of thing, number one is have a camera system that's going to work in this environment, and for me, that's the Sony A7S III. Stylistically, look, there are so many great references. It's too many to name, but I just look for both a still or a moving image that tells a story beyond the story that I'm trying to tell, just in that moment, just something that gives us so much essence of the creature, so much essence of the animal, something that gives you, just more than the cool shot of a crocodile.